What's up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys can hear me all right, put a 1 or a thumbs up in the chat. Make sure my mic is working okay. And for those that are new to the channel, I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover murder, mystery to the paranormal. And today we're going to be going over the Alex Murdaugh trial. We'll get you caught up on the latest details of week 2. And then we've got a big special thing that me and Steve have been, Steve experiment he's putting together from True Crime Web, and we'll be featuring that tomorrow night, and super excited. But we'll kind of give some details about what we're doing tonight in the show. I think you guys volume's a little low. Okay, we'll turn up just a little here. Okay, yeah, my cat knocked over my my studio, and I'm still trying to get it all fixed, so hopefully that sounds a little better. All right. For those that are new to the channel, we always like to give back by featuring the missing, so we'll quickly do that. And so today's missing, we have Matt Kemper went missing on January 5th of this year. His last cell phone ping was out of North Glendale, Nevada at approximately 11 a.m. He has a gray 2018 Chevy Colorado truck diesel with Utah plates. He could be in the area of Utah, Arizona, and Nevada, and I will show you on the map why, because that's like right on the corner of the 3 states. And so he is a veteran. There's the hashtag Find Matt Kemper. He is 5'6", 130 pounds. I don't think it has his age here, but if you have any information, please call your local authorities or 911. Here's an area where he went missing. So we have Utah here, Nevada here, and Arizona here. Apparently he's phone pinged somewhere in Glendale area here. So you have I-15 right here, which so for us Utahns who like can't gamble here in Utah, we like to go to Las Vegas. That's the closest thing for us, or Mesquite, I guess you could say, is a little bit closer. But to get there, we go through Arizona and then into Nevada. And so you pretty much, within an hour, you can be in 3 different states. So I think that's why they have Nevada, Utah, and Arizona. But it looks like he was on the road somewhere, went missing. So let's hopefully they find him. He's a veteran. And yeah, prayers for the family. And then also we got another request. This is Austin Madsen. He went missing on January 27th or the 28th. His last recording that he sent to a friend was on the 27th. He was kind of snowshoeing out in Garfield County. He is 32 years old. He has 2 kids. He's married. They've been searching for him. So far, no luck. Sadly, he's out in the middle of kind of nowhere. And with the winter and cold, unfortunately, doesn't bode well, and it gets as low as -6 Fahrenheit or -21 Celsius in the early morning. So this is the area that he was last seen in. So this is Utah. This is Garfield County. His truck, they found his truck, but they haven't found him yet. And his truck was found somewhere located in here. Now, apparently he told his family that he was going to be snowshoeing, and I think he was going to be heading south to Arizona. Sounds like he didn't make it that far, and so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. So, all right, so is the volume good? Everybody, my volume is max, but I have to put the speaker close to my... Okay, I'll turn it up just a little bit more. That should be better. Everything good with the volume before we get started? Just make sure here. Yeah, I might do something tomorrow before we go live with Steve and do a couple of things with my mic that I can do. Actually, I got one more thing that we'll try here. I'll get the mic. I'm trying to get one of those mics that drop down. Be a little bit better. Okay, so volume good. Everybody saying volume good? Okay, cool. All right, let's get started. I turned it up just a little bit more. Okay, so we'll go ahead and play a video just to get you caught up to date with the latest from week 2 of the Murdaugh trial. And then I got the phone records for Paul and Maggie. and it tells an interesting story about who read their last text messages and exactly what time. And so we'll first get y'all caught up. If I can find the video here. I've got so much stuff here. Why am I not seeing it? There it is, sitting right in front of me.
So this week, we heard a lot about guns and ammunition. Now, here's the thing about that. The murder weapons haven't been recovered. Investigators believe, though, that Maggie was killed with a .300 Blackout rifle and Paul with a 12-gauge shotgun. Now, why do they think that? Well, the Murdaugh family had a lot of guns, and guns were fired on that property in the past. So the prosecution is saying that the ammunition, the materials found near the bodies, matched the bullets and weapons that were found around the home. To give you a better idea of that, here is South Carolina Law Enforcement Division Senior Special Agent Jeff Croft talking a little bit more about it.
What else are you looking for right now as you look through the other firearms on that particular gun rack?
Any additional rifles capable of shooting a .300 Blackout, and also the any 12-gauge shotguns which are capable of shooting 3-inch Magnum.
Let me ask you this: did you find any other weapons that could shoot .300 Blackout?
No, sir, we did not.
Did you ever find any other weapons on Alec Murdaugh's property that could shoot .300 Blackouts other than that one that was in the gun rack?
No, sir, we did not.
We're going to talk more about this in a minute, but did you find some 12 gauges?
Yes, sir, we did.
What's that?
This would be the magazine which I removed from this rifle on the video, and the ammunition which it contained.
All right. And what kind of ammunition is that?
It's head stamp.
Seems like you have to directly...
So they found a bunch of Blackout rounds all around the family home and their other little area where they have a shooting range. So obviously the ammunition that was used to kill Paul and Maggie was the same ammunition that is basically found at the Murdaugh home. So that is suspicious.
put the guns into Murdaugh's hands to make this stick, no? In fact, listen to what Murdaugh told investigators.
I mean, Paul has guns scattered all over the place, so, you know, some of our guns aren't there.
So that's huge, him saying that. And we also learned from the second friend that testifies, I think it was the second friend, Will. Yeah, there's Will and Rogan, I think was the other name. Anyway, so the friend says that he had 2 or 3 trucks that they, and this is referring to Paul, on the property. I think one of them was found broken down on Interstate 67 or something, but he had the other 2 trucks, I guess, on the property. And I guess, I don't know if it was all the trucks, but he usually would keep at least 1 or more guns on his person or in the truck. And it sounds like, you know, by the kennels, there's a big driveway. It's like their second driveway, and we'll look at the map at that. Basically, his vehicle could have been right by there, so he had his, you know, access to either his shotgun and or his .300 Blackout. But that was Alex basically confirming that Paul always had some kind of gun close to him on the property.
Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Post it. Get it.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba.
So this is the infamous Snapchat video that's been circulating since it was released 3 days ago, which is literally one of Paul's last videos that he takes, and he was going to send it to his friend. This is his friend's dog. The dog, they were checking on it. His dog's name is Cash. They thought maybe something wrong was with the tail, so Paul wanted to do a little video, record it, and then he was going to send it to his friend. Now, at this time, it is approximately 8:48, and according to Alex, the father, he's supposed to be taking a nap, because after dinner, Paul and Maggie went to the kennels while Alex took a nap. So he's supposed to be at the house napping. But in this video, we hear Paul and Maggie's voice, and we also hear a third voice. And it's and you hear the word Bubba. Bubba, so we have Cash is the Labrador right here. There's also, I think they call it a yellow Labrador named Bubba. And that's who they're referring to. So when you hear Bubba, that's the other dog. And I guess he has a chicken in his mouth. Maybe he might have killed the chicken because there was a dead chicken they found when Sled showed up. So what we're hearing is three voices and what clearly sounds like a third voice to be Alex Murdaugh.
That's a guinea.
This is a chicken. Come here, Bubba. Come here, Cash. Come here, Bubba. Cash. Quit.
So I put this up. So here's another thing that doesn't look good that I don't think anyone's really fully mentioned. It's nothing huge, but the person, this third voice, which we'll see, the two friends literally say they're 100% sure that they know that's Alex. But the other thing is the person, this third voice, clearly knows the dog's name. I don't think anybody's really brought that up. This is literally minutes before the attack happens, and if this is the killer, how does the killer know the dog's name, and how come the dog's not attacking or barking or alerting, or how come Paul or Maggie don't sound alerted? It just sounds like, family members doing their thing. And definitely knew the dog's name, Lacey-Ann, yep. So he's clearly talking to Bubba. So, I think that's also another nail in the coffin, that this is clearly, somebody that knows the dog, which is Alex. Sorry, I had this up for a minute.
That video.
Okay.
Do you recognize your dog?
Okay, so this is the first friend. We'll just play a recap of the two friends, basically confirming the third voice. But this is it Rogan? I want to say Rogan. And he is basically Paul's friend, good friend. And that was his dog Cash that was being videotaped. And so when he heard the video, he recognized the third voice, and he's going to confirm it here in just a second.
I do.
Do you recognize Paul's voice?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize Maggie's voice?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize Alex's voice?
Yes, sir.
100%?
Yes, sir.
Can you point out Alec Murdaugh, the person whose voice you recognize in this video in this courtroom, please?
Sitting right there in the gray jacket.
Please let the record reflect he's identified the defendant. Thank you, Mr. Gibson. Nothing further. Whose voices did you recognize on that video?
Paul Murdaugh, Maggie Murdaugh, and Alex Murdaugh.
And how sure are you?
100%.
The person whose voice you recognize on there that you identified as Alec Murdaugh, do you see him in the courtroom here today?
Yes, sir.
Can you point him out for the jury?
He's sitting right there.
Your Honor, please let the record reflect he's identified the defendant.
So if the jury accepts that that is Alec on the video, then they would also accept that he wasn't honest with investigators about his activities, and he was at the crime scene.
Bodacious not convinced yet. You're entitled to your opinion, and I totally respect that. I was, like I said, when this case started, I was, like I said, 60-40 when this got to the trial, because I could see it both ways, just because of the family history and how much people hated Paul and for getting just a slap on the wrist when it came to the boating accident. So, but after the second week and learning about this video here, so this video was taken about 2 hours before Paul and Maggie are shot. And this is Alex here. It's a quick little video where I guess they're putting up a new tree, and it's clearly not standing upright.
Better than it was, ain't it?
And then there was also a video from
Now, this video was not from June 7th. This was prior to that, Alex's birthday. I forget which day this was, but this was prior, not the same day.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you, baby.
So that's a misconception. See, that's what I thought, Big Ups. Actually, because he was telling his friends. See, this is where I was confused with that as well when this first kind of started, because we kept hearing how Alex was telling people that he wasn't there. But what he meant is that he wasn't there at the kennels. Because his story is that he was basically at the house, after they planted the tree, they had some dinner, then Paul and Maggie go to the kennels while he takes a nap. And he's supposed to be napping for like an hour between like 8 and 9, basically. But, of course, with the footage from the Snapchat at 8:48, and we hear Alex's voice confirmed by two close friends that one of them would think the Murdaughs as a second family, would indicate that he was not at his house and he was next to his family.
And when you look at that, only to viciously, and I hate to say this, but this is the way it's being described, blow his head off. That's what these accused of doing. And I will tell you, that can be hard to reconcile. That can be hard for a jury to reconcile. It is a weird oddity of this case. Now, on the other hand,
thank you.
Here at Law and Crime, we have seen countless cases where people commit murders out of nowhere. It can be shocking. It is the last thing that anyone expects. And speaking of shocking, speaking of dudes we heard from, was Chris Wilson.
I was supposed to have.
So I'm just going to play this last little clip, and then we're going to start breaking down the phone records that I was able to take from this video, which is very interesting. It really breaks down the timeline in the last few minutes of Paul and Maggie. I'm just going to play this short little clip. This, the jury didn't get to hear, but this is one of Alex's close friends that he'd known a long time. He's a lawyer as well. He has his own law firm. But obviously, this was kind of building the motive because we learned on June 7th that he was basically confronted at his law firm, Alex was, about because he had been stealing money from his law firm for quite a long time. And this is one of the guys that he kind of actually ripped off. And so here's him kind of explaining when he found out that Alex was stealing the money.
$792,000 in my trust account that was supposed to have been paid to his firm. I'm responsible for that trust account. I put $192,000 of my own money in that trust account to cover the shortfall.
Based on his representation that he'd get you back.
Yes, sir.
He said that he admitted to you he had been stealing client money.
Yes, sir.
So he confessed that to you, is that correct?
He said he a lot of people up. I don't remember exactly how it ended, Mr. Waters. I was so mad. I mean, I'd loved the guy for so long. And I probably still loved him a little bit, but I was so mad. And I don't remember how it ended. I left.
What a week. That's all we have for here.
Okay. So that's just caught up on the second week, and we're going to start breaking down that. Thank you so much, Jocelyn, for the super chat. So now we'll break down the phone records, where the bodies were found, and then also we'll lead up to what Steve discovered, and I think it's huge. So here's a look at his two. Let me clear that. Thank you so much, Jocelyn. Clear that. Move this over a little bit. So this was taken at like 7 something. I'll have to look at it, but this was taken about an hour and a half, 2 hours before the shootings happened, and then we can see after, this is what he was wearing. So could he have changed when he went back home? It's possible. Or did he change after the shooting happened? Moving forward, we'll come back to that. So here are the records from Maggie and Paul. And let's see, should I do them side by side? Yeah, let's we'll look at Maggie's first. I'll put them side by side in a minute, and we'll break down the main things. I'm not going to go through every single recording, but basically we'll start at, so her last call, this is Maggie's last phone call made at 7:50 p.m. Then the phone gets unplugged from a charger at 8:17. At 8:30, 43 steps are recorded. Maybe she's walking. And steps, this is kind of interesting, and that's something I'm looking into. But so they say the average step is 2 to 2.5 feet. So I didn't do the math on 43, but 59 steps is approximately 140 feet, which is kind of interesting. But we'll look at that in a minute. 8:31, she has a group text from John Marvin. She reads a group text at 8:31. Then nothing for about 18 minutes. Then 8:49, which is just minutes before they get shot. Her phone unlocks. She reads a group text from John. Just says read. Last text read. So she reads her last text at 8:49:27, which is interesting because we'll go over to Paul's here in a minute. Then 8:53 to 8:55, there are 59 steps recorded on Maggie's phone, activity sensor data, and in between that 8:53 and 8:55, there's an orientation change. So basically the phone is basically recording portrait, then landscape, portrait, kind of going back and forth. And during that time, the camera comes on for 1 second because someone's face it's trying to recognize a face, but it doesn't recognize it, so it doesn't unlock. And we'll explain what I think that means here in just a second. Let me get caught up here. Yeah, I'm going to try to break that down because it is. Because there's just a lot there. So here's Paul's phone, and then we're going to look at them side by side. And I'll give you my opinion on what I think it is. So that Snapchat that was taken. Okay, so the Snapchat of him with the tree, that's taken at 7:38. It's uploaded at 7:39, sent to his friends at 7:56. Okay, so yeah, so hour and a half is basically taken before the homicides happen. Then we'll start, so 8:29. So this is Paul's phone. He's kind of texting this girl, Megan. They're talking about movie recommendations. He sends a text back at 8:29 saying, haha, I don't have a good one. 8:30, another one comes in, OMG. And that's read at 8:30 and 13 seconds. Then he reads it, time not read. Okay, so they don't know exactly, but probably just after, somewhere around 8:30, he reads it, a message from Paul to Megan, haha, kidding. Then we get to 8:40, which is an outgoing call to Rogan, and that's the guy that we saw on the stand, and he's the one with the dog named Cash. They talk for 4 minutes and 14 seconds. The phone call ends at 8:44. Then we have an 8:44 FaceTime that lasted 11 seconds. Rogan testified reception was bad and FaceTime wasn't working, so he asked him to send the video. And then the infamous video of the Snapchat, or video I guess it would be, where Paul records and then he was going to send it to his friend, but it never got sent to his friend. And this is the video he sends of the Cash's, the dog Cash's tail. And they're recording to see if there's something wrong with the tail. And of course, that's when you can hear three voices, Paul, Maggie, and then according to the best friends and prosecution, it claims to be Alex, and it says Alex claims to be at the house napping during this time. Then we have 8:48 outgoing call or outgoing from Paul to Megan, text message, not call, excuse me. Star is Born. So he recommends a movie, Star is Born, which is a good movie. 8:48, 29 seconds. She sends something back saying, no, I need something happy. Text was read at 8:48 and 59 seconds. Then we have the last text message read, which is 8:48 and 39 seconds from Megan Kimball. Don't like watching sad movies. And this is read at 8:48 and 59 seconds. So that's huge. And then I guess Paul's phone is at 2% battery. Rogan sends another text message at 8:49 and 35 seconds, but that goes unread. Then Gibson calls, which is Rogan. He calls a bunch of times, no answer. He texts Maggie, no answer. So clearly they are unfortunately deceased at this point. Okay, let me get caught up here. Thank you, Jennifer, for the super sticker. Thanks for the timeline visual. Yes, I've got a lot more here. So now we're going to look at them side by side and look at the most... there we go. Make sure I'm not covering it. Okay. Get my chat caught up here. Let me know, mods, because we got 500 here, if I need to slow down chat at all. So I'll keep an eye on it. All right, so we're looking at side by side of Paul and Maggie's phone. And I think this kind of tells a story of who was most likely shot first. And this is just my opinion, of course. But so we'll go by the last two messages read by Paul and Maggie. So with Paul, we have the last message read at 8:48 and 59 seconds. So basically 8:49, almost on the dot, as we can see right here, which was sent from Megan Kimball. So at 8:49, basically, he reads that last message. And then at 8:49 and 35 seconds, Rogan would send something to Paul, but it wouldn't be read. So that means we would think that something happens right at 8:49. Now, why I think this is interesting is when it comes to Maggie, she reads a text message at 8:49. Let's see, device at 8:49 and 27 seconds, which is a group text from John. Reads last text read, and then the device locks up at 8:49:31. So almost a minute and 20 seconds after Paul's last read message is Maggie reads her last message. So I think that could lead to, obviously, it pointing towards Paul getting attacked first. And then while Maggie is probably reading this last text message, it's possible that she gets then shot right after. And so according to just my opinion and the research, it would look like at approximately 8:49, Paul was shot twice with a shotgun. First shot, we'll look at the shots, but the second shot was clearly fatal, a headshot. Then we, oops, go back. And then with Maggie, I would think maybe a minute, 2 minutes later, 8:51 approximately, Maggie is shot 5 times, twice in the head. And we'll kind of look at, I know somebody asked about the autopsy. I've been looking for that as well. I haven't seen anything like, where you'd see the autopsy, where you'd see like the photos of the bodies and you'd see like the wounds. I haven't seen anything like that. Let me know if you have in the chat, but I haven't seen anything, which is kind of surprising. Usually when they talk about that, like when they talk about the Snapchat video, then they release it that day to the public. So I'm kind of a little surprised we haven't seen anything like that. So we'll get to the 59 steps and everything here in just a minute. But let's see, what should we do first? Let's look at where Paul and Maggie were at when this happened, and then we'll jump back here. To open in Red browser, do I just put them over? You would, if you're on the iPhone, you would go into your, if you're talking iPhone, you would go into your iPhone, open up Safari, type in YouTube, and then when you're in YouTube, then you would type in Mob Crew, if that's what you're asking, Flourishing. But you don't want to be in the YouTube app if you're on iPhone. Sorry. A lot of people have trouble with the iPhone. For some reason, they don't like to be compatible with YouTube. All right, so Maggie's body was found just right here on the red overhang. Paul's body would be found inside. This is the kennels right here. Let me clear this real quick. There's actually like a little doghouse. You can actually kind of see it. I think this might even be it. She was found close to that doghouse, and I've got a better picture of it. So let's see. We'll come to that in just a second. So here was their diagram that they had, and I kind of just cleaned it up a little bit. And here's another picture of the red overhang and the kennels here. But Paul's body would be found kind of halfway out the doorway here of the feed room or storage room. He'd have 2 shotgun shells found by his body. Now what's with Maggie, it looks like she was shot in 2 different groups. Looks like there was 3 shots that were fired from the front, and then 3 shots fired close to her when she's on the ground. And so according to what I could find is, so Maggie was shot 5 times. According to the diagram, looks like 2 positions she was shot at. One being towards the corner of the red overhang building, so which is the group right here, the 3 bullets. Now there's 1 bullet that was fired into the ground. This is the case 13 here. So it might be when whoever was handling, if it was Alex holding the AR, he might have shot a bullet into the ground. So that might have been attributed to number 2. So, but according to them, she's shot twice. Now she's shot once in the chest, which causes her to drop on her knee, and she's holding herself up with her right arm, but she's leaned over and down, and it looks like a bullet. It's kind of hard. The way they word it's really weird, but it sounds like she's shot in the head from the front. So she's shot in the chest, and then she goes down on a knee and her arm, and then she's shot in the head as she's leaning over. So I'm assuming that puts her down face down on the floor. Then the person walks over to her, perhaps maybe steps on her or kicks her, because they said that there was some kind of what appeared to be some kind of like foot marking or shoe print on one of her legs. They never really unfortunately looked into it. They took a picture, I guess, of it, but they never examined it further, which is kind of a shame. And then we'd have 3 more bullets. She shot another time in the head. So at least 2 bullets entered her head, and at least 1 into her chest. And I'm not sure where the other 2 entered. Still trying to figure that out. So, see, that's what I was thinking, okie dokie, at the beginning. But at that point, I think she's, in my opinion, she's dead. And I'll show you kind of how far 59 steps is in just a second. Because that's what I was wondering too. I'm like, oh, is she like trying to run from that? And it could be. But it's quite a lot of steps. 59 steps. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a lot. So I don't think so, just in my opinion. Okay, and then we'll look at the angles of the shots to Paul, because that's what Steve was doing some control test and figured out some amazing things, and we'll kind of lead up to that for tomorrow's show. So, in my opinion, like I said, we have Paul's last message. So, on the right, we have Paul's last message read at 8:48:39, or excuse me, 8:48:59. So, basically 8:49. We have Maggie's read a minute and a half later at 8:49 and 27 seconds. So, if we look right here, that if the homicides happened, let's say between 8:49 and 8:53, Alex, He leaves at 9:06. So I guess there's like a tracker in his SUV. So it records him getting into the SUV at approximately 9:06. And he leaves to go to his mother's. So in my opinion, I think the homicides end at 8:53, and I'll tell you why. So at 8:53 and 15 seconds to 8:55 and 32 seconds, so basically we'll just say 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 20 seconds, there are 59 steps recorded. But during that time, and this is why I don't think it's Maggie walking around, is because during that time, in between 8:53 and 8:55, at 8:54, there's an orientation change to the phone from landscape and then back to portrait, or vice versa. But the biggest thing is the camera records for 1 second, and that's indicate that means that the phone was attempting to recognize a face to unlock it, but it doesn't unlock. So in my opinion, this is when Alex had grabbed the phone, or if you don't believe it's Alex, whoever shot them grabbed the phone and had the phone in their hand, and it didn't recognize their face. And that all happens in between 8:53 and 8:55. So that's why I think that is most likely Alex and not Maggie, because obviously if it's trying to read a face, and if Maggie was alive, it would have opened up. So let me quickly grab these real quick. Pat Newcomber, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting the channel. Chemistry Queen, oh, that's a cool name. Thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting the channel. And let me get this. Chemistry says, love your channel. I always look forward to your insight on these cases. Much love from Louisiana. Thank you so much, Queen. That is so awesome. Thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting the channel. So let me take a sip here before I run out of breath here. So let me know what you guys think the 59 steps. Do you think it's Maggie or Alex? I personally think it would be Alex, just because now Steve did say one thing that was kind of interesting. If she was shot in the face, it would attempt, it may not recognize her face, but I don't think she'd, if she was shot in the head, I don't think it would, I think she would be, incapacitated at that point and would not be able to handle the phone. So to me, it seems like with the phone changing back and forth, to me, it sounds like someone picking up the phone. And so it goes from portrait to landscape or vice versa. And also, Alex, let me take a sip real quick. So the other thing is Alex Murdaugh also, before he left at 9:06 apparently, so it says Alex phone called his wife 3 times at 9:04, 9:06, and again at 9:00. Let's see, he called her a bunch of times, but yeah, so at 9:04 and 9:06 and a few other times. But according to Maggie's phone, which indicated its display came on and that there was an orientation change, 2 additional calls from her husband came in at 9:45 and 10:03. All 5 calls occurring after the prosecution's alleged she was killed. Those 5 calls are missing from the call log. So apparently, according to the prosecution, Alex deleted what they call a trove. So at least 5 calls he deleted, and I think a video or 2 as well. I'm still looking into that, but he deleted quite a few things on her phone for some reason, according to the prosecution, because they're like logged in the data, but they're not on her phone, if that makes sense, because they can get the data, the hard data, and see that there's calls in there, but then when they actually look on her phone, they're not in there, if that makes sense. So clearly there was phone calls being erased, and if you believe it's Alex that did it, then it was most likely Alex that had deleted the messages or the calls. So let me get this. Thank you so much, Michelle, for the super chat, and thank you so much for your hard work as a mod. Okay, so everybody's saying, yeah, I think it's Alex. Yeah, so to me, so 59 steps. Okay, let me just go back to this one more time. So make sure my head's not. So if you think it was Alex at 8:53 handling this phone, that means between 8:49 and 8:53 is when the two were unfortunately shot. And so it looks like in 3 to 4 minutes, it's all over with, which makes sense. They're pretty close to each other. Their bodies are found, I think, 30 to 50 feet away from each other, so not too far away. And so with him handling the phone, sometime between 8:54 and then the 59 steps, that gives him basically 12 to 13 minutes to clean up, because then at 9:06, he leaves in his SUV. So, I mean, that's plenty of time for him to... Could that be him walking to the house? Which we'll look at. So here's just... we'll actually do it again here. Let's just take a look here. I think this matches up perfect for him to maybe get in the vehicle. So if we look... So if you put in, so they say the average step is 2.5 feet. So I kind of went with just a lower number just in case she only takes 2 feet. Or if, I mean, I guess if it's Alex, then that would be bigger strides. So I guess that would make sense for 2.5 feet. So at 2.5 feet at 59 steps, that's 147 feet approximately. So that would kind of make sense for him maybe going, if his vehicle is parked here or something. The house is much further away, but I'm sure they had the ATV that was located near Maggie, which even had apparently some kind of organic material on it. They don't, I guess unfortunately they never tested it, which it doesn't make sense to me. But they did find some kind of material on the ATV, which could indicate blood or some kind of, I don't know, but could be related to Maggie or Paul or even him. Oops. Every time I try that. Continue to support channels that put out respectful, well-researched content like the Mob Crew. Spread the word. Thank you so much, Rebels of Reddit. Thank you so much for everything you do. It's an honor to give back to everybody. Hey, Steve from True Crime Web. There he is. He's going to have his little special members show later today. Good to have you here. So, all right. Let's move on. So here is some screenshots of the crime scene. Now apparently they found some, this window that's back here, they found some, what looked like some pellets had gone through. There was some broken glass, clearly from like a buckshot. There was some broken glass, so bullets, or the shells, or pellets, excuse me, had probably exited these window out here. And also there's a bird cage that had had some pellets that go through it as well. Now what's interesting is the angle. So Paul was shot twice. And in the first shot, he was most likely standing in the feed room or storage room, which is next to the kennels here. So he was standing in this room. So if you believe it's Alex, and one thing that's interesting is Alex is approximately 6 feet or 6'1". Maybe he was 6'1" at one point. You know, people do kind of get shorter over time, so maybe he was 6'1". But from what the records I could find, from his last whatever, it says he's 6'1" or 6 feet. And then with Paul, it says he's 5'7". So there's approximately a 5-inch difference between Paul and Alex. So the first shot that Alex is hit with is he's hit with in his upper chest and kind of arm area. But what's interesting is that first shot is kind of at an angle, which is interesting, considering that Alex is, quite tall. And then the second shot is even more interesting, which appears to be, so the first shot didn't incapacitate Paul, and he might have kind of stumbled, but he's still standing up, might have walked forward close to the door frame, so he would have been close to this door frame here, and we can see that there is what looks to appear to be buckshots that are all kind of around this door frame and kind of in the top of the door right here, which is really interesting because that would indicate that the shotgun was at a kind of a unique angle, and considering that Alex is really tall, makes it very unique that he would kind of shoot at such a weird angle. And Steve, being the genius that he is and the hard worker and doing his control test, had figured out some interesting details, and we're going to share that with you guys tomorrow. He did a video and some other things, and it's amazing. Absolutely genius, and I think it's going to be huge, in my opinion. So excited to show you guys that tomorrow, and of course couldn't do it without Steve. But of course the second shot would be a headshot, basically taking most of Paul's head off, unfortunately, causing brain matter to end up on the ceiling, according to some of the investigators' report. And then it fell down to his feet. Very gruesome, very horrific, unfortunately. But the angle of the shot is very interesting. And with Steve's, Steve used to work in law enforcement. He used to break down crime scenes. And after looking at this and doing some experiments, I can't wait to show you guys tomorrow. And I wish I could show you guys tonight, but that wouldn't be fair to Steve and all of his hard work. And so we will definitely show that tomorrow, and we'll have Steve on like we usually have Steve on. We try to have him on every Monday, once a week. So super excited, but yeah, it's kind of interesting that these angles of the shot. So what else do we have here? Oops. Let's see what you guys are saying in chat here. Yeah, great demo. And we'll give you just a little sneak peek. So Steve is doing some experiments. I think he kind of showed this on his. So on both victims, there was what's called stippling. Stippling is when the gun is very close to the victim that's being shot, and it leaves this residue. And I think I've got an example here somewhere. I'll find the example of the stippling here in a minute, but and then just a little example. This will be for tomorrow. Steve's a little setup there. That's all I'll show you. Just a little cliffhanger, but super excited. Okay, so where did I want to go? So we'll kind of recap. Let's see, what time is it? 4 o'clock. What time do we start? 3:15. Okay. So if you missed the first part, we'll kind of recap everything. Oh, there's that picture I wanted to show. So this is the doghouse. So this is the kennels on the right here. This would be the kennels. It looks different. I think this is taken much later after. And then this is the red overhang, the red building that we see. This is the doghouse that's indicated on the. Oh, let me move this over a little bit. That's indicated on the diagram. Apparently Maggie's body's found just, real close to this doghouse. I apologize. You might hear a kid in the background. We got the baby over the weekend, so, and she's learning to talk, so now she's a big talker. Yeah, that's a good question. I wonder, that's a great question, my wrench. I wonder if they ever searched for that blue shirt and khaki pants. Like, is that missing? It's one of the things that the defense has been leaning towards, at least especially that first week, is like, did you guys check the sink? Did you guys check the, the pipes, to see if there was blood or anything? If supposedly Alex did this, you'd think he'd wash up. Did you guys go check the pipes and the sinks? But they never, I don't want to say I don't know if they did, but it sounds like they may not have, because I don't see why they would argue that and build that up unless they might not have been thorough enough. But yeah, it makes me wonder if they have that, if that clothing is missing, because we got the two guns, the shotgun, Paul's favorite shotgun, that's supposedly missing. And then we have the 300 blackout. There was 3 of them that they had. Paul lost one of them. It was replaced in 2018, and that one is now missing as well. So you have 2 guns that are missing, but all the bullets that were used to shoot Paul and Maggie are the same bullets that are used on the property. So I don't think that looks good either. So let's quickly recap if you missed the first part. Let me take a sip. I'm going to quickly plug my my affiliate Liquid IV real quick while I take a sip. What's up, Mob Crew? How would you like to feel better about what you put into your body? This all-new product called Liquid IV is taking hydration to the next level. Liquid IV's Hydration Multiplier is a great tasting daily electrolyte drink mix that utilizes the breakthrough science of cellular transport technology to deliver hydration to your bloodstream faster and more efficiently than water alone. Just add the non-GMO electrolyte powder to your water and let CTT do the rest. It comes in tons of different flavors like strawberry, grape, lemon, lime, and much more. Just add the powder to water and get the hydration your body deserves. They have powder for energy, hydration, and even one to help you sleep better. If you'd like to learn more or purchase some, go to this link down in the description of this video. And if you use the code THEMOBCREW during your checkout, you can save up to 20% on your next order. Hydrate now with Liquid IV. Thank you. Okay, so shout out to Liquid IV for being an affiliate with this channel. Quickly plug them. Okay, so we'll recap just in case you came in and missed the first part of the show. That's weird. My counter went to 0. That's weird. Anyway, that's really weird. We're still live, right, guys? I hit my outro and I thought, that's weird, my number's broken. Anyway, how's the... Okay, it's live. Okay. Let me slow down the chat just a little bit for you guys, and then we'll recap everything if you missed. Because we broke out the phone records. There's some interesting stuff with the footsteps. And so let me just quickly tone that down just a little bit, because it is kind of going fast for me. And if you guys could, please hit that like button. Help support the channel. And okay, there we go. All right, so we'll quickly recap everything. Let me bust out that video. There's a few things that I want to point out.
Okay, so this week we heard a lot about guns and
okay, so we're going to skip forward here. So here's just kind of a look at their kind of gun room, as they call it. They've got a lot of guns, a lot of shotguns. Okay, so this is one thing that I wanted to show.
Murdaugh told investigators.
I mean, Paul has guns scattered all over the place. So, some of our guns aren't there.
So I think that's interesting, because that could just show Alex may not even had a gun when he was at the kennels. Like, it could have been just Paul that, we learned that Paul has at least 3 vehicles, and I'm sure at least 1 or 2 were on that property at that time. And it sounds like he kept his, according to Alex and his friends, he kept, his guns either in his vehicles or on his person. And his 2 favorite guns was the shotgun and the blackout, which coincidentally are the 2 guns that are missing, and the 2 guns that were used to shoot Paul and Maggie. So I thought that was interesting that you have Alex literally saying, yeah, Paul leaves his guns at, has his guns out everywhere. Then we recapped this video here. I'm going to play it one more time and then make my other argument that I made earlier.
Come here. Come here, Cash. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Hey, Bubba.
That's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash.
So that third voice is saying, come here, Bubba. Come here, Bubba. Now, Bubba, if you don't know, so we have the dog Cash, which is the one on video. But the other dog's name that's got the chicken is Bubba. And that third voice we're hearing, which according to the best friends and the prosecution, is Alex. The other argument that I wanted to make that I haven't really heard, and it's not big, but I know I made it earlier, just for those that might have missed it, is that clearly this third person knows the dog's name is Bubba. And, this Bubba is not barking or seems threatened. And it clearly just sounds like just a regular, nothing suspicious going on. And there's no intruder or anything, because this is literally taken just minutes or minute before they're attacked. So I think that's another big argument to why this is clearly someone, that third voice is clearly Alex or somebody that knows the dogs. Then we have the two friends. We've got Rogan, who confirms that it's that voice is Alex.
Point out Alec Murdaugh, the person whose voice you recognize in this video in this courtroom, please.
Sitting right there in a gray jacket.
Please let the record reflect he's identified the defendant.
One thing I really wish they would have played is I wish they would have showed Buster's reaction. That's the one thing I was trying to find video, because they were all zoomed in on the Snapchat video and everything on Alex and not Buster. I wonder what he's thinking.
And how sure are you?
Alex Murdaugh,
And how sure are you?
100%.
The person whose voice you recognize on there.
Okay, so I just wanted to play that. So that's the two best close friends to Paul, and they say 100% that's Alex's voice. I even did a voice comparison when that video first came out, and I mean, Alex definitely has kind of a unique voice. To me, it's a dead ringer. Then we kind of learned about this video on the right, which is taken about an hour and a half before the Maggie and Paul are shot, and this is clearly Alex wearing a different outfit. We got a blue shirt with some khaki pants, and clearly after the homicides we have Alex wearing a white shirt and some shorts. So clearly either he changed when he went to eat. Now, of course, according to Alex, after they planted this tree or whatever, Alex would go, I guess maybe the family goes and they eat dinner, and then Paul and Maggie go to the kennels, and he takes a nap between 8 and 9. But, of course, on the Snapchat video, we hear at 8:48 or 8:49, he is basically there at the kennels. Okay, so then we jumped over to the phone records. We'll recap this. We're not going to go through everything. Quickly get this real quick. Yeah, definitely. The attack comes up so sudden, almost like a blitz attack. Yeah, only a couple minutes. And, speaking with Steve, some people think, that things like this can take, quite a bit of time. But they really don't. They last just minutes. When people get attacked, it's not very long. And Steve's got a lot of knowledge about that kind of stuff, working crime scenes and stuff. And yeah, sadly, it doesn't last long. Thank you so much, Charlene Bound, for becoming a member. Just Just reading something. Thank you so much for the support. Just reading your messages here. Thank you. I've only spent months. Oh, you must be on iPhone, maybe. Okay, so now moving on to the phones. We're not going to go through them all, but these are Paul and Maggie's phone records here. We'll just kind of get to the highlights of everything. So we'll start on Paul's side here. So at 8:40, he has an outgoing call with Rogan, which is the first friend that has the dog cache. They have a phone call that lasts 4 minutes and 14 seconds and ends at 8:44. Then they try to do a FaceTime because he's kind of concerned about the dog. They try to do a FaceTime, but it only lasts 11 seconds. It can have bad reception. So he asked Paul to, hey, can you just send me a video of my dog's tail? So at 8:44 and 49 seconds, Paul records that 50-second video, which we just watched, which seems to have Alex's voice in there, which at this time he's supposed to be at the house napping. At 8:48, he has an outgoing text message to Megan. They'd been texting back and forth before this, kind of talking about movies. He suggested Star is Born. And then she texts back at 8:48 saying, no, I need something more happy. And then his last text message is that he reads. It gets sent to him at 8:48 and 39 seconds. Don't like watching sad movies. And he reads it at literally 8:48 and 59 seconds. Basically 8:49. And that's his last message he reads. So if we keep that time in our head, we jump over to Maggie. And we'll just go over her last few. So she has nothing too much going on. At 8:31, she has a group text with John Marvin. She reads a text at 8:31. Then the display comes on. The phone's unlocked at 8:49. Another message comes in, and this is her last text message. Her last text message is read at 8:49 and 27 seconds. And a few seconds later, the device locks, assuming she read it and turned off the phone or whatever. So if we put those two text messages side by side, move this over. So we have Paul's at 8:48 and 39 seconds. Well, he actually reads it at 8. I should have changed that. Actually, he reads it at 8:48 and 49 seconds. Or 59 seconds, right? 59. Yeah, 59 seconds. So I should have changed that. So it should have been 59 right there. But either way, so at 8:49, he reads his last message. But she doesn't read her message for another 30 seconds later. So that, to me, that indicates, in my opinion, Paul was most likely shot first. As she's reading her message at 8:49, maybe that's when he gets shot. Then she is most likely shot before 8:53, because at 8:53 and 15 seconds to 8:55 and 32 seconds, there are 59 steps recorded. Now, at first, I did think that could have been Maggie maybe trying to run away. But in between 8:53 and 8:55, the phone is kind of moving back and forth. And at 8:54, the camera turns on for 1 second. And that's the Verizon phone attempting to recognize a face. So that means there's a face that is appearing in front of the camera. So it turns on to try to recognize that face. So in my opinion, I think that's Alex walking around with her phone. And it maybe kind of, he's looking at it. And so it tries to unlock, but it doesn't, because it's not Maggie's face. And so it doesn't unlock. And we learned that Alex Murdaugh had, so he tried to call her phone at 9:04 and 9:06 and a couple more times at 9:45 and 10:30. But what's interesting is he deletes at least 5 calls, according to the prosecution, sometime right after the homicides. They know this because when they downloaded the data off the phone, it says that there's these phone logs in there that he tried to call her phone. But when they look on her phone, like on her phone itself, they're not in there. So clearly that means it had been deleted. So they knew, something was fishy with that. And I think he also deleted some videos as well. So according to my personal timeline, and this is just my opinion, I think the the homicides happened between 8:49 and 8:53, so about 3-4 minutes, which that wouldn't take much because they're only 30 to 50 feet away. After 8:53 until 9:06 is when Alex leaves in his SUV. So that gives him approximately 12-13 minutes to clean up. And that's plenty of time to change. And then, of course, we learn that Alex would go over to his mother's home, and he would be seen with now they say either a blue tarp or a blue raincoat, but apparently he comes over with this tarp or raincoat, and I don't know what he does with it, but it is he did bring that over. And to me, I think that probably had the guns in it because they did retrieve it. I don't think there's anything in it, so he probably disposed of everything in it except for the tarp itself or raincoat, whatever it is, and that had gun residue in it. So to me, I would think that would indicate most likely the guns, and then maybe his clothing, possibly. We don't know for sure, but I would think at the very least the gun residue. So that is basically it. Let me see what you guys are saying here, and then we'll finish up and talk about what's coming up for tomorrow. Thank you so much, Pammy, for the $20 and the support. Moselle Farm listed for 3.9. Wow, that's crazy. And I bet that's kind of a deal, I'm assuming. That's wild. That's a big acre. That's a lot. That's a big area. What's up, Mitzi Scott? Thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting the channel. Thank you, Bonnie Bailey, for the $2. You should have I think at the end of February, you should have your shirt on the way. Why did he snap? His everything was closing around him. He was caught stealing money. He'd been stealing money from his company for years. He worked at a law firm. And when he steals money, he steals money from his law firm, like from other people that helped him in cases. And he was stealing kind of from his best friend. And he was basically got confronted that day on June 7th. He was confronted by one of the, I don't know, was it HR rep or, somebody that works in HR, human resources, I'm thinking. Or a paralegal or something, but she started figuring things out that there was money that wasn't adding up, and he had all these excuses. Also, Alex did say that he suffered from a addiction with, I think, opiates as well for many years. So, and then also you had Paul, the son, who had that incident, that boating accident, where he was driving a boat under the influence, and there was 3 couples, 6 people, including him, and they slammed into a bridge, and this was like in 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago. And he slammed into a pillar, and all of them got flung out of the boat, and this was in the middle of the night. And Mallory Beach, who was on that boat, she must have hit her head on the boat as she was coming out and got knocked out, fell in the water, fortunately drowned. And he should have gotten a lot bigger sentence, but of course he had the same defense attorney as Alex, which is Dick Harpootlian, and basically got him off with a slap on the wrist compared to what he should have probably received. So the family was receiving, a lot of threats. And so that's why it wouldn't surprise me on both scenarios, as far as, Alex being guilty or not guilty. Because, well, at least in the beginning, now after week 2, now knowing that he was there, I think he was most likely there. So let's just go over what we're gonna be talking about tomorrow, which is gonna be huge. So Steve from True Crime Web, and if you haven't subscribed, I would please go subscribe to his channel. He's amazing, former law enforcement. He's been doing some amazing control tests, and we're going to be showing those tomorrow. We're going to have video control test. Basically, if you ever watched Mythbusters and they shot at, like the dummies and stuff, we're going to have all that. And he found something very interesting because he was taking a look at these crime scene photos and noticed that there's some angles on these that don't quite add up, but they do tell a story, and especially with between Paul and Alex. And so we will talk about that and show the video of him kind of reenacting the scene, and it's going to be amazing. I'm so excited. So please, we're going to have the show at, I gotta think, Eastern time. We'll probably start the show at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely mark that on your calendar tomorrow, because that's going to be amazing. But as you can see here, there was pellet shots that were found in the door frame, which means that the angle of the shotgun was quite at a weird angle. And knowing that Alex is at least 4 to 5 inches taller than Paul, it wouldn't make sense. Why wouldn't he just shoot straight? If you're going to shoot him in the head, why isn't the gun straight, which would clearly just been straight through, but it wasn't. It was at an angle. And so Steve kind of did some tests, and he figured out what could, it doesn't mean exactly what have happened, but I think it's probably the most probable thing that may have happened. And we'll explain that tomorrow, of course. So, Tina says, I'll definitely be there. Hey, Casey, good to see you. I might reach out to you. Let's hear more about that case in Tennessee. It's still kind of early for us to be going out, well, at least for me, but maybe we'll get some more information on that case, because we definitely would like to start getting out and working some cold cases as soon as possible. So, let's see, anything else? So yeah, I think that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys are so amazing. Thank you all to donated and all the new members. You guys are amazing. And like I said, tomorrow is going to be huge. I cannot wait to show you guys what Steve. I have to put, the reason why we can't show today is I got to put the video together. I just got it sent to me, and so I have to I want to do a slow motion of it as well, and kind of show everything that would have most likely happened to Paul. It's going to be very interesting. So super excited. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and get the outro ready. Good to see you, Lynn. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for all the hard work for the members and the mods. And we'll have a mod appreciation in a week or two. So I love you guys. Have a great weekend, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Set that notification. Super excited.